Hey guys, today's topic is motivation, and I think this is a hard topic that people have to really self-evaluate with because a lot of people just aren't motivated to do something hard long enough to find success. Josh, what are your thoughts about motivation?
Oh man, yeah, a lot, right? So I'm glad we have some time to talk about this
Deep
today.
topic.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the book, I think it's by Simon Sinek, of Start With Your Why?
Mm-hmm. Got that.
So, man, I just think so much about that. Motivation for me, I can stay motivated for a day or a week or something like that. But if I know why I'm trying to build something, build my company, build, this great, channel of sales or whatever it's happening, I have to understand my why first. And then I kind of work things backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So motivation for me starts with, understanding my why, and then secondly, what are the steps I got to do to get to where I'm going? So that's kind of my starting thought for you is you got to start with your why.
No, and I think as you look into motivation, it's not something that is just a one-time home run. As Josh said, there's a lot of steps to it. And I think the step that most people miss is remembering what they're motivated to do.
Yeah.
So you take a vision board. I've built vision boards for 10 years plus, and they've been a game changer for me.
Same.
Right?
100%.
But my vision board is on every computer. It is the back screen of my computer, so I can see it.
I've seen that for sure.
Right?
Yep.
It's on my wall in my office.
Mm-hmm.
It is laminated. I want to see it 5 times a day throughout the whole year. Because if not, that's why most goals fail after 3 weeks in January is people forget. It's like, oh yeah, I was going to do that.
I mean, likewise, I've got this magnetic board from Hobby Lobby, and my wife got it.
Good work.
Thanks.
Good.
But I tape an actual visualization, right? So I find a picture of what I'm looking for, whether it's another rental property or it's this many loans per month or whatever that is, and it's up in my bathroom. So every morning and night, I'm seeing that. I've got a mini one in my closet. So as I'm getting on my shirt for the day, I'm looking over my goals. And then there's also one by my computer. So visualizing that, seeing it, writing them down is super, super key. I like
Well,
that.
it needs to be a remembrance at a glance. Because you're not going to go back through and read a journal of all the things you wrote out. Right? So mine is a picture collage. It's very easy to build. But I have pictures of all the things that I want to accomplish this year. As soon as I look at it and I see, there's a picture of the family in the middle.
Yeah.
That means I want time. I want time with my family. When I look at 100 doors, that means I want to own 100 real estate doors. And all I have on there is a door that says 100 in the middle. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Pretty easy, yep.
And so you've got to figure out ways in which you're always going to be remembered. And then I think Josh hit the nail on the head. It's got to be something you break down into months, into days, into how are you going to accomplish that. So what are your steps in accomplishing all of the things you set out in your vision?
Yeah, so I think I'm really understand the vision first and then break it down into small, simple steps and working that backwards. So if I want to close 25 loans every single month, I just know my conversion rate and I walk all of that back, right? So that means I have to be contacting about 200 people a month, right? Mm-hmm. Getting 125 loan applications to boil it down into 25, right? So just knowing your numbers, working them back and tracking them. So I just have a simple Excel tracker that I use every time I get a referral, every time I get a new loan, I track that. So I know how many I'm actually getting, and it's always up on my one computer screen because I have to track that. So, but in other goals, right? Not just numeric goals, but whether that's losing weight or eating better or, more time with the family. I've got a buddy right now who's doing a really great job on working on his relationship with his wife. He's the CEO of an awesome commercial business, but he's like, you know what? I just want a better relationship, closer relationship with my wife. So he's tracking how many dates he takes her on a yearly basis.
That's cool.
And his goal is 48 dates this year. That's huge.
That is huge.
It's almost weekly.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So tracking, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
As you look at your goals. So my goal is to sell 30 million a year in real estate. So I need to sell, and I put on there 3 million a month.
Yeah.
because I know there might be months where I might fall a little bit short of the 3 mil.
For sure.
But I don't need to hit 3 mil a month to sell 30 million, right? But I've got to hold myself accountable to those numbers. If there's months where I don't hit the 3 mil, guess what? I've got to do more of all the hard things to make sure I'm hitting that 3 mil.
So you just hit on a super valid point. I've worked with a lot of sales professionals, coached. I've had upwards of 90 sales professionals under management at one time. One of the biggest things that I see them fail at is they think every single contact that they work with is going to close that month. People change their minds. We were talking over lunch today about, someone we thought was going to close and they pushed back 6 months, right?
Yep.
So that's not going to count in these goals for this month.
Correct.
So you have to over exaggerate to make sure you're actually hitting your goals, and knowing your conversion rates and things like that and tracking them is super important. But I like that, making sure you have way more, about 6 million over, right, for the year, rather than just always 3 million a month.
Well, and the other thing is you've just got to know what your numbers are. You got to know what your price per home sell is, how many homes you need to sell, and if you need to sell 5 a month in your market, then you need to have at least 10 under contract at all times.
Yeah.
And if you don't have 10 under contracts at all times, what do you need to ramp up? Well, it's got to be your contacting. And that goes down to every little thing in your life. You've got to set these parameters in which you need to hit. So on my vision board, I always put a goal to take my family or my wife on an exclusive trip. Last year we went to the Maldives, we've been to Dubai, we've been to Bali. We take her every year. But my goal is once I hit set amount in income, I just go book it. So the goal this year is Croatia. Guess what? We're going in June. It's already booked. Nice. So once you hit that income goal, you've got to go reward it. And for me, giving back to my wife, because guess what? I'm gone a lot and I want to make sure that I get that quality time with her, as we talked about relationships. I build all of my motivation and my goals around my family.
Yeah, love that.
So they know exactly why I'm working hard and what rewards they get out of this as well.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Man, I know that working with a lot of like your team and other realtors, some of them are still part-time. They're trying to transition from the W-2 world to straight, fully self-employed and being their own agent. And I take a look back. I was a W-2 employee for 10 years. And you have to take those big leaps of faith and then just work your guts out in smart, strategic ways to be able to make that jump. And one of the reasons why I made that jump was, what did my life look like 5 years down the road, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't driving an hour and 20 minutes to get into an office every day, right? This office is now 10 minutes from my house. And, it's 2 minutes from my kids' elementary school. So when they're in a play at school or a choir concert, I'm 2 minutes there and then I can be right back here getting my stuff done, right? And so designing your lifestyle in that vision is super important. And I think that's why a lot of us are in mortgage or in real estate, is because we can design our own lifestyle. And what your life is, you've created. So if you want, some freedom and more money, then go sell more. That's pretty cool.
It is. And you guys, you can accomplish anything you set your mind on. And that doesn't mean you need to go set a goal to crush it out of the park, because I think that's one of the biggest failures that most agents make or people that are being coached, is they set unrealistic expectations. Yeah. And if you set unrealistic expectations and fail and then becoming okay with failure, it's okay, I failed. Yeah. And I'll fail again and it's okay. I don't have to get mad at myself, which is not okay. You've got to set goals where without a doubt you're going to hit them out of the park. And if you don't hit them out of the park, you don't quit until you do, because you set that goal and you have to accomplish whatever you tell yourself you're going to do. So accountability, you should be your worst critic. Yeah. I don't care who your coach is. Accountability, you should be your worst critic and never allow yourself to fail. And if you'll do that, you'll see crazy, crazy good success.
The other thing too, right? So setting those small goals, but giving it enough time. I've seen so many people start out in the sales career and 3 months in, they give up just simply because they didn't give it enough time. And I've seen some amazingly talented people give up too early on their goals and their dreams, that if they would have gone 2 or 3 or 4 months longer, they would have had a consistent pipeline and created huge success for themselves, and they just give up too soon. So
I've got a really cool story about that. Cameron Ure, he's on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
This kid took 8 months before he ever got sales going. He had sold 2 homes in 5 months prior to joining me for coaching and getting going in the coaching realm. And then once he finally clicked after 8 months, he ended up making over $300,000 the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
But it took him 8 months of grind. He could have easily quit and died out really early. So you do have to grind, and you have to stick to it, and you have to practice, and you have to work, and you have to be okay with putting in all the effort to find the success.
Yeah, that's a really, really great story. There's hundreds of those stories out there for sure. I think the other major thing is what part of your business are you the best at, right? So you and I, we're both relationship guys.
Yep.
We are really good about going out, forming relationships, meeting new people. We're extroverts, right? So we like to be able to go out and meet new people, talk to them about real estate, talk to them about their goals, but not necessarily the best at collecting paperwork. Right? So figuring out what you enjoy doing in your business, what you're really good at, and then figuring out how you can either hire that out or offload that to someone else so that you can focus on what actually moves the needle, what you're good at, what your core competencies are, and then get out of the way of the other stuff you're not good at, and find the right person that's really good at it.
You guys know something that's really funny is Josh says, hey, we're extroverts. It's really funny to think this, but I actually am an introvert, and I hate getting in front of people. We go to a party, I'm stuck into a corner, right? But you put me in sales mode, or you get me out knocking doors, you get me contacting people, you get me in front of an audience to speak, and I can turn it on and do something I'm not used to doing or like to do. And guess what? It just goes to show you that if you have the right vision and the right motivation of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, you can accomplish it. Josh can connect with anybody in 2 seconds. He's one of the coolest guys on the planet. But yeah, he can connect so quickly with people. Whereas for me, I feel like it's so much harder. But that doesn't mean I can't win. That doesn't mean I can't win at all. And most people think I'm an extrovert because I play it so well, but I actually hate it. Yeah. So don't sell yourself short. Find ways in which you can make a win every time.
Yeah. So always be selling.
Yes.
Right? So, man, one of the coolest parts I think about what we do is, let's say it's not a party, right? Like you just described. You got a nice haircut, right? I have gotten so many referrals from the ladies at sports clubs, right?
Awesome.
Right? They have a stack of cards at 3 different locations around here because I talk to them about them, how long they've been in the industry, blah, 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 blah. In return, they always ask me, hey, what do you do? And so I tell them, man, I help people live where they love. What does that even mean, right? And I just have that catchphrase. I help people live where they love, and it gets them intrigued, and I'm passionate about what I do. Do you have any cards? I talk to freaking 15 people every single day, right? And so they're handing out business cards on my behalf. So creating raving fans, get people to talk about themselves, and then in return, you'll have an opportunity to
see what I mean, you guys? This guy can connect with everybody. Even the dog catchers are picking up his dog. He probably would connect with them and get them to buy real estate through him. And what a talent, right? He called me and he says, hey, we're doing an investment seminar tomorrow night for our clients, right? And he's like, yeah, my hairdresser's going to bring her husband and come. And I laughed a little bit thinking, yeah, that's kind of funny. But then he brings it up. See, this is where he's connecting and where he's bringing in business. And that goes to prove a point. If your focus and your motivation is always in gear and driving, it doesn't matter who you're in front of. The dentist could be having a big old spear in your mouth and you could say, I don't like real estate. The point is you need to be always prospecting and closing. And if you'll do that, you're going to hit your goals all the time.
And the cool thing is we're helping people.
Right.
People have to have a place to live, and they don't know how to do it on their own. We're the industry experts, and we're cool people to work with. Right? So it's super fun to be able to go help people live where they love and get paid to do it.
Well, and here's the other thing, you guys. Oftentimes, as Josh looks at this, the biggest and best time to buy a house is yesterday, just like planting a tree. And we need to help people understand that, because if you look over time, go back the last 5 years in real estate, we have appreciated over 200%. You're hurting people by not helping them get into real estate.
For sure.
And so, guys, go drive. Go hit your goals, help them hit their goals. And there's one other thing. It doesn't always have to be about money.
For sure.
Josh talked about, health. Spiritual goals. I have spiritual goals on my board where I want to read my scriptures for a certain amount every day. And mine's at least 30 minutes. I want to think about Christ more in my life. And so set goals in which you can really evaluate and see how much they change you as well as a person. It's not about money. It's about who you can become.
Yeah.
And then you got to work hard to accomplish those things.
Yeah, I love that. So my categories are home, health, and wealth, right?
That's awesome.
So home is family life, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's my family life? I have 6 kids. That's a lot of different personalities and needs as a dad to fulfill. And so I got to be super focused on how I keep my home in order. My wife, awesome. Managing 6 kids and all of the stuff she does. And so making sure that I date her and we have a great relationship there. Right. Health is both physical and spiritual, right? So goals like, how long are we reading our scriptures? What are we doing to serve our fellow man? All of those things. And then also health-wise, how much am I going to exercise, blah, blah, blah. And then wealth, right? How do I build that? And that includes helping enough other people have jobs and create wealth for their families as well. So those are my categories to make sure that I'm focused and see them every day.
Well, and you've got to balance your lifestyle out. You've got to make sure you're finding time for each part of your vision.
Yeah.
And make sure you make appropriate time for it. Time blocking. That'll be another podcast that we'll do. But you've got to time block and make sure you're building time for each one of those avenues in which you need to build out. But guys, it's so easy to stay motivated if it's worthwhile to you and you want it. And second, if you just try. If you just try, you will succeed. There's no doubt in my mind.
So one last comment.
Okay,
I think
shoot.
it's so important. At least it has been for me. Music, like as I'm driving, we drive a lot, right? Music for me doesn't motivate me to want to go sell more. It doesn't allow me to want to go, help more people.
But he can dance.
No, I cannot. No, I cannot. I'm as wide as they come. But I think the thing for me is if I'm not on calls while driving, right? Like doing business calls or checking in with people, I call them my sphere of influence check-ins. Just calling 2 or 3 people a day. Man, how you doing? What's going on? Right? And oftentimes that leads to referrals, right? But I listen to podcasts and books on my phone, right? Audible. And if I'm not on a phone call and I can't do anything else but drive, I am listening to something that's teaching me more about how to be a better loan officer, how to publicly speak better, how to build relationships. Whatever those are, be using your time wisely because you only have 24 hours in a day. So be efficient with your time.
Call to action, you guys. I want you to write down 3 things that you're going to change right now that you're currently not doing that's going to help you stay on task better than where you have been and to help you hit the goals. And if you have not built a vision board and you have not taken everything out, you need to sit down right now, shut off the phone, turn off the air at your house, turn off the electricity, and write that stuff down. Make sure that this becomes a vital part of your life and then never get into the next year, 2024, without already having that vision board built and what's going to drive you for that year. And then think further out. Think 5 years. But you've got to make sure you're building this out. And if you do that, life's going to change for you. Thanks for watching today, you guys. You've been awesome. Talk to you soon.
Awesome.
Love that, dude. You even pulled out the white boy comment.
Oh, yeah.
I was just about to ask